So this next story is definitely going to be a very interesting one. It has a psychedelic warlord, it has a hacking group, it has Beto in address, but most importantly, it has the fact that the mainstream media did something very unethical and needs to be called out for it. Now, right now on social media, many people here during St. Patrick's Day are having a heyday with the presidential candidate Beto O'Rourke with a lot of different memes out there. The GOP even going as far as to bring up old photos of Beto when he was arrested for, of course, a DUI. But to me, this story highlights a bigger issue. And the story, of course, is how Reuters for 2 years sat on a story for access, of course, doing something very unethical. The story, of course, is about Beto being a part of the cult of the dead cow. It's a hacking group that has been very interestingly characterized in many different ways, that was known for releasing tools that allowed ordinary people to hack computers running Microsoft Windows. It is also known for inventing the word hacktivism to describe human rights-driven security work. So a lot of disclosures. There's even a photo of Beto in what looks like a dress here. But the bigger story is of course, this is a major story. This has a lot of people paying attention to it. This has a lot of sensational, hyperbolic aspects to it. But again, the bigger story is how Reuters kind of bragged that it scooped this story and sat on it for, of course, access and special privilege, sat on it during a very important time when Beto was, again, running for the U.S. Senate seat against incumbent Ted Cruz, which he almost won after, of course, he was brought to famous stature by the mainstream media that propped him up so highly. Jason, this is an interesting story, but to me, the Reuters story sticks out the most.
I mean, there's a lot to unpack here. Most people are really unfamiliar with Beto. Just so everybody knows, this is out of Texas. He ran for Senate. There are 2 senators per state. He lost to Ted Cruz, but he was a congressman from 2012 till not running again in 2018. So that means he served the better part of 6 years in Congress. And nobody brought up this hacktivist past. I mean, they literally created the word hacktivist. That's pretty relative. So who is this guy? Who backed him? Who got him in an age, Luke? You know, what struck me is when I found out he was a hacker, I thought to myself, man, you know, there's a lot of dirty dealings in elections and voting machines, and we know they've been very easily hacked before. If a candidate for office who was still connected to a large hacking group were able to get into office, that would be a huge scandal. No one's even drawing that point that that's a possibility.
Yeah, that's a stretch. That's a big stretch.
Is it a stretch? I'm not accusing him of anything, but you think that question would be asked. I mean, for instance, we know very little about what this group exactly did. And they were one of the largest at the time.
Note here, the hacker group kind of held this information for decades. And when this Reuters journalist, who, by the way, is also working a book, that's why many people are talking about the monetary incentive here, came to them and kind of, this journalist from Reuters came to the conclusion, like connected the dots, and he was like, wait, Beto's was a part of this group. This person that gave him this access and all the information and spoke on record said, I'll confirm it, but you can't run with the story when Beto is, of course, running for Senate. And what most likely happened here, it's a speculation here because we have no evidence of this. This kind of hacker probably contacted Beto and maybe Beto was a part of this, maybe not. But to me, this just highlights a very unethical kind of approach by Reuters, and kind of builds the bigger argument here that they're giving special privileges and special access and special rights and special dealings to, of course, people that they like. And of course, Beto was a mainstream media favorite when he was running against Ted Cruz. But now when he's running against everyone else, he's getting a lot of criticism for being a white male, which he's profusely apologizing about. And then now all this information is coming out when he's in this kind of huge race of this Democratic national push for the presidency against Donald Trump, which I find very interesting to say the least. But again, very unethical by Reuters. Don't you think, Jason?
I do think it's unethical. And again, I'm really asking the question here. He won Congress. How is there, he already ran for Senate. How is there nobody, I get that the Reuters story got squashed, that he figured it out. But why is it coming out now so far after the election too? Why didn't this just come out immediately after? I really suspect that, you know, we talked about them trying to make him into this Obama-like rock star. Remember they were putting Obama on the cover of Rolling Stone in the clouds as God himself. That's not made up. Yeah. And O'Rourke is now the bad boy hacker. You know, they're probably going to put him in a leather jacket next, and you'll see some, like, really... I mean, you see that hair. Let's go back to that meme for a second. If you could see the hair under there, that's some bad boy hair there, Beto. Beto O'Rourke.
And a skateboarder who awkwardly skateboards. Now, Jason, you brought up a kind of a bigger point here that I wanted to kind of highlight here. Officially, the reason why the story didn't get leaked is, again, the guy promising special access and more in-depth details about this if he postpones the story. Reuters said yes. Now, you brought up a bigger fact with media manipulation. People will be astonished to find out just how much elected officials and people who are running for political office have influence and power over the media. I remember I was absolutely shocked when I saw Condoleezza Rice be at a speaking event. I was trying to confront her a couple of years ago. That same day, she was at this kind of impromptu speaking event where she was doing live Q&As from random people that wrote their questions down on a notepad and gave the notes to the moderator, and the moderator randomly selected these questions. Condoleezza Rice was answering these questions. Then she went on the Jon Stewart show, and back then Jon Stewart was very respected. He's still respected today on the Daily Show. And guess what? Those same questions were asked again, and they were, of course, set up, softball, easy questions. Not asking Condoleezza Rice about the war crimes, all the horrible events that led to the decisions that she made in the Oval Office. No, none of that. Oh, tell us how great your book, literally line by line, the exact same questions that, of course, made a perfect PR pitch for Condoleezza Rice's new book. So Condoleezza Rice and other powerful individuals literally go to the media and they're like, you're going to ask me this and this and this, and you're not going to dare ask any other questions. The mainstream media, predominantly, it's like, yes, oh, good overlord politician, let us just speak your lies and propaganda, and we'll perpetrate it to the people and call it journalism. It's not journalism. It's PR for the establishment. And Beto has been a part of the bigger media establishment when he was running around against Ted Cruz, especially the left-wing media establishment. Now, the game's a little bit more wild with the presidential election. It's only going to get more interesting, but just know, when you're watching something on mainstream media, you're most likely watching something edited, manipulated, and there for a reason, something that is not organic, something that is not natural, something that is not independent, but made for a bigger purpose, made for a bigger push. That's my take on it. Anything else you want to say, Jason?
Yeah, to one larger point of media manipulation, behind me is the CNBC article, and there he is, Beto. He's got his arms crossed. It looks pretty cool. Can you imagine if while Trump was running for president, it came out that Trump or one of his sons was in a hacking group? Let's just say Eric or Don Jr. was part of a hacking group.
The Russian collusion stories would be insane.
We're never hearing the end of it, but like we could all, because it's Donald Trump, I won't even put it out there. Donald Trump's a hacker, because all right, I get it. But let's just say like Ivanka, anybody. And they were my God, the media would be like, ties to Russia prove cyber criminals, cyber gang, the cyber gang family. Like
PP tapes 100% confirmed in Russian hotel room with Vladimir Putin and all this other nonsense bull crap. The media has a lot of power. Let's admit that. Great point, Jason. Want to finish it off?
Yeah, guys, hey, we're doing a lot of videos. We're talking not just Beto, but so many other things, especially on the backup channel. So please go to youtube.com/Luke We Are Change. Don't worry, we're gonna change it when we can find a cool name and that somebody doesn't have on the back. We're asking people about it. Hit the notification bars, support us, go to our t-shirt shop, whatever you can, share this information, but most importantly, be the change you want to see in the world.